Another New Japan Dominion is in the books, and it was quite an incredible showcase. We got some amazing moments, we got some very nice teasers of things to come, and overall, we just got another great wrestling show, which is perfect considering what Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live have been giving us lately. But I digress. Hello, everybody. I'm just a simple man, and my name is Noah Foster, and welcome to this first ever. I believe this is the first time. Well, yeah, this is the first ever thing I'm doing. Maybe I'll do this more going forward, but I digress. It's extremely too long. Welcome to the first ever Simple Take. This Simple Take will involve looking over, briefly reviewing, recapping, and discussing Dominion that took place in Osaka-jo Hall this past Sunday night, June 9th. Or morning, excuse me. Sorry, East Coast. It gets confusing sometimes. With that, why don't we just get started? So first off, New Japan Pro Wrestling Dominion is like one of their big shows of the year. They got like 3 or 4 shows, I believe, because most of their content takes place across tournaments and tag team showcases. I mean, one of their tournaments is, of course, the Tag Team Classic, I believe. And that's coming up soon, too. I'm looking forward to Kasuna Road as well. Anyway, so we open up with our announced team of Chris Charlton, Kevin Kelly, and Don Callis. Chris Charlton more there being the translator. Don Callis, he's always there for Wrestle Kingdom and Dominion, it seems. And Kevin Kelly always does a great job as play-by-play lead guy. Our first match took us to the Young Lion, Shota Umino, who's been there now for a couple years, versus the Death Rider, and recently crowned IWGP US Champion, Jon Moxley, aka Mox. And this was a nice little over-the-top match. I like how Shota went right out of the gate over the top rope, really showcasing some good stuff. But Moxley, of course, he took over following a missile drop kick with a clothesline and just hammering away, chopping. But he also asked for the Young Lion to deliver it. And the Young Lion, he delivered it to an extent. But again, Jon Moxley, he won a brief, quick showing. But this was one of those matches that wasn't really about the match. It was more about post-match as you get more ideas of what is to come, potentially. As Jon Moxley, the innovator of violence, he declares a message he wants in the G1. And then, of course, he also takes Shota Umino with him as well. And you know what's funny? He's on point saying that WWE made him to hate promos, but ever since he's been liberated, he's really enjoyed doing them now. And you could tell he brought some humor and also some very realism to his post-match interview with Shota Umino on his shoulder. Having him hold his title was pretty funny too. And yeah, he says he wants the G1 Climax. He says, don't know many people here. I need a partner. So I guess we might see Shota Umino and Jon Moxley tag up before the actual G1 Climax matches if this becomes a thing. Because just like the Best of Super Juniors, it was always tag team showcases. And then you got your main attractions. Same thing kind of here tonight, except the undercard, as people like to call it, it basically told the story of what's to come. So, following that, yeah, Jon Moxley won. I thought this was a pretty decent match. Young Lion, you know, and Young Lion will probably see more, and I respect Shota Umino. But of course, Jon Moxley won with Dirty Deeds and the up and release vertical suplex combination. And yeah, the humor with the interview was pretty good too. This match was okay. It was 3 for me, just average. Following that, though, we got a heck of a barn burner. It was Shingo Takagi versus, he said, and I quote, he wants to face heavyweights. He thought that he proved himself really well during the Best of Super Juniors, and his only blemish in his 97-1 record since joining New Japan Pro Wrestling was against the winner of Best of Super Juniors, Will Ospreay. So he got what he wanted, a legend in Satoshi Kojima. And let's be honest, this match was literally a match about chops and right arm lariats. And that's really what it came down to. He wanted to challenge his right arm against a guy that's known for hosting some of the most vicious chops / lariats in the business. Excuse me. And this match was quite good in my opinion. It started out with both men, you know, exchanging and stuff like that. Then we had corner attacks. And of course, in a Kojima match, you know you can expect a chop fest. I think Kojima chopped Shingo 40 times, I believe. And then he goes for one of his finishes, the top rope elbow drop. But of course, Shingo, he's aware of that, plants Kojima on the apron. At one point, though, I thought was really interesting. Before this, both men were exchanging forearm strikes and everything to the count of 19. Really, really interesting stuff. But of course, we got some bumping bombers in this. But the curious thing about the bumping bomber was that not one bumping bomber, but two bumping bombers didn't even really shift Kojima. It took a third one to finally move the man. But the funny thing is, after he did go for a third one, Kojima laid him out. And Shingo falls to Kojima's lariat. Gets a one count, actually, when Shingo capitalizes. So, I think Shingo here was really, really trying to evolve himself, but he still is wrestling like a junior heavyweight. I think now he knows what he needs to do. But he also wants to prove something to himself, because in the end, this is his first victory against a heavyweight in one-on-one action. His streak continues. He won. He won, of course, with a pumping bomber, last of the dragon combination. But mad respect to Kojima for just really bringing the fight as expected. You've got to respect veterans in this business when you know they can actually go, unlike other places. What's interesting about this, though, is we got another announcement. He wants in the G1 Climax. He wants to challenge the heavyweights and prove how strong a junior heavyweight can be. So we will see what happens following this. But I thought this was a very good match. Both men really brought the fight to each other. There really weren't no dull moments because neither of these men are like submission guys. They are brawlers and hard hitters. I thought it was a good match. I give it a 3.5 out of 5 because I expected the victory as such, but it was always fun seeing Kojima and the Chop Fest and both men exchanging lariats. And again, Shingo's on point saying he wants to test his arm out again against this guy. It was extremely good stuff. So, following that, we get promos, of course, for their next upcoming shows, including 2K showcase of Sharon Showdown in Australia, and the G1 Climax coming up too. That's going to take place through the remainder of the summer, starting, I believe, in July. So, following that, let's move on from there. We go into our third match, and
you guessed it, tag team action. Our third match, basically a story of two matches that I'm sure are going to happen soon. It was Jushin Thunder Liger and Yoshihashi, the Headhunter, versus Minoru Suzuki and the returning Zack Sabre Jr. of Suzuki-gun. And of course, this match had your typical start out with Suzuki-gun with the attack, but there was a lot of interesting tag team chemistry here between Suzuki-gun as always. Just goes to show how much Minoru Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr. work well together as a team. I believe they're still the Web Pro British Tag Team Champions. Anyway, there were dual submissions, and Minoru, I don't know what you do against a guy that loves being hit and wants more. I mean, he's terrifying. I love it. Minoru, he wants more, but then basically it was Yoshihashi, Minoru, Suzuki in the ring. I think Minoru Suzuki broke Yoshihashi's jaw, but apparently the guy kept going, so mad respect to him. Zack Sabre Jr. like, hey, okay, you okay? Anyway, following this, there was a lot of arm work. Suzuki, he gets for a punt kick, but then Jushin Thunder Liger comes in after a kick out pin attempt and kicked Yoshihashi. Yes, Yoshihashi in the back saying he wants a tag. And then following this, we get a vicious chop, and Liger finally comes in with a couple of shotes. And basically, we have the match I want to see one-on-one happen one day. Jushin Thunder Liger versus Minoru Suzuki, both men exchanging chops. Then we get an armbar, sleeper hold combination, and a pile driver attempt. But nope, that didn't happen. We get headbutts instead, and a brainbuster and tags to both Yoshihashi and Zack Sabre Jr. They exchange chops, and then there's a dropkick to the lower neck. We get a submission armbar combination. Then Suzuki-gun, with how well they are, they come in basically with abdominal stretches, locking up both Jushin Thunder Liger and Yoshihashi. But it didn't matter, because after some chops, slaps, and lariats, there was a quick roll-up, and first surprise of the night for me, Yoshihashi, he picks up the win on Zack Sabre Jr., who is infuriated. What's terrifying, though, is Minoru Suzuki is being dragged away by the Young Lions. He seems angry, but then he's like smiling as he just talks back at Jushin Thunder Liger, or Jushin Thunder Liger's trade jazz with him. So basically the way I see this match is this. We're going to get Yoshihashi versus Zack Sabre Jr., I believe, for the British Heavyweight Championship. And Minoru Suzuki versus Jushin Thunder Liger. It's got to be happening, if not Wrestle Kingdom, some point during the Tour of Destruction in Kobe. This was a nice little tag match that foretold the future to me. And again, I mean, I was surprised. Respect to the legend, who's putting as much time as he can before he retires to Wrestle Kingdom, Jushin Thunder Liger. Especially with the return, once again, of the J Cup. And I think Yoshihashi, I mean, don't count out the veteran. What can you say? This match was okay though. I give it also 3.5. You know, it could have probably did more, but it was all right for what I got. Following this, we go into our last tag team match of the night, a 6-man tag featuring the ace of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi, the coach, Risuke Taguchi. Apologies if I screw up any names. And of course, the Juice Robinson, the flamboyant one, versus Bullet Club's Jay White, Taiji Mori, and the crown jewel Chase Owens. So this match was kind of, you know, Bullet Club, we're dominant, we're union, we're fine, versus guys that are on, you know, losing and kind of struggling a little bit. Because Hiroshi Tanahashi, he just recently lost one-on-one to Jay White. The coach, he lost out in the Best of the Super Juniors. And what can you say about Juice Robinson? I mean, he literally got a chunk of his face bit out by Moxley, who took that title from him. And then you have, of course, Jay White, who can gloat about beating the ace again. Taiji, who, well, he's Bone Soldier. He's going to be fine. And Chase Owens, who, I don't know really where he stands in this, but he does have past history with Juice Robinson. Anyway, going into this match, we start out with Chase and Juice. They exchange for a while. There's elbow strike and a vicious one focused on the left eye of Juice Robinson. That leads to a forearm. And then we get a jab chop combination followed by Juice with running lariat, and he goes for his cannonball, but, you know, Chase being aware, he gets out of the ring. And then following this, we get Taiji and Taguchi. They're in there together, and of course the coach is trying to use his funky weapon multiple times. He gets denied on the third account, and then everything breaks down. Bullet Club attacking everybody else outside of the ring, and then Jay, he comes in, he hits some attacks, but, you know, the baby faces, they come back in. Tanahashi gets tagged in, and he goes for a top rope maneuver. Not the high five flow. I don't think we'll ever see him use that again, actually. I don't know if he can actually use that anymore. But Bullet Club, they take advantage, and then we get a bit of super kick action, and then left-handed guy from Juice Robinson. Everybody just breaking down outside of the ring, inside the ring. And then we get a package power driver attempt, and it's between the Ace and Chase Owens. But out of nowhere, in a very awkward finish and takedown, where I think he came down on his injured shoulder still, Tanahashi did, he rolls up Owens for the win. So, yeah, this pleasure surprised me too, as the babyfaces won this one. I did not expect that. I expected Bullet Club to win. But the way I see it is this. Tanahashi, he feels like he let the fans down. I guess this is a way to bring him up still, but I think he's more fighting himself mentally. Juice and the coach, I'm not sure where they go from here. I'm sure Juice wants to get his title back. And it really doesn't harm Jay White, who I know is going to probably be in the G1 Climax to prove a point that he should be champ, which we'll get into later. And Taiji and Chase, good on them. I'm not sure what we can do with those two, maybe tag team action. It's been a really weird time. But this match was okay for everything it gave. I give it a 3.25. Moving on from here, we get into basically our title matches. The rest of the matches were all titles. Damn, these title matches were insane. Our first match featured the Never Openweight Championship between two bitter long rivals, expanding across years and years and years. Not just because, Taiji lost in the New Japan Cup, etc. Anyway, it was Taiji, the current Never Openweight champ, versus the Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii. And this match was truly a hard-hitting wrestling affair. So we started with some mind games as Taiji comes out of the ring. He also throws the title towards Tomohiro, saying that, hey, you should be the one that's coming after the title after I throw it to you. But anyway, at this point, Tomohiro's like laying down the ring, hey, you know what, just come on, just do your thing, do your thing. And he literally willingly lets Taiji just, hit him from while he's down and stuff. And it basically ignites him, We get some kicks, some chops, and then a vicious slap takes down Tomohiro. But before this, actually, what I really enjoyed about this was the direction. In New Japan Pro Wrestling, I feel like there's always one person that brings out the best out of another. And I feel like Tomohiro does that with Taiji, and Taiji does that with Tomohiro. As Tomohiro, when he gained control, he literally gains control with forearm strike, grabs the mic and the blue bag containing that stone glove, and throws it all the way to the other stage. Like, let's just straight up wrestle, have a wrestling match. And I really feel like this changed the direction of what I expected, as it really was that. There was headbutts, kicks, power slams, so many kicks. There was enziguris, and at one point, of course, we got our typical moment. The pants came off. Both men exchanging. Tomohiro goes down with a kick. We get a bomber enziguri combination. Vicious Saito suplex on the head by Taiji. Taiji really impresses me. You know, I feel like people sell Taiji short, but Taiji can really go. He's a really good wrestler. Anyway, following this, moving a little bit forward, Taiji, he gets in a Gedo clutch. Here's my one gripe about this match, okay? I feel like here, if he kept the submission, it literally looked like that Tomohiro was down and out almost, okay? If he kept the submission, I think he would have retained the title. Maybe he didn't want to beat him that way. Maybe he wanted to beat him via pinfall. But I feel like that's where Taiji made his first mistake. Anyway, following this, we get Axe Bomber. We get Buzzsaw Kick, and Black Mephisto gets countered into a last right powerbomb into a near fall. Ishii with another kick. We get more kicks. So many kicks and chop combinations. At one point, both men exchanging. Taiji with the kicks, Tomohiro with the chops. And then it came down to a vicious slap. But anyway, Brainbuster counter. We get forearm exchanges by both men. Tomohiro with the last exchange. We get a powerbomb, sliding basement lariat, vertical drop brainbuster finally, and Tomohiro wins and once again becomes the never openweight champion. In my opinion, this is where, and I expected this is where the show really picked up. It was a really great, fast-paced match. A lot of hard-hitting action. No outside interference from Miho Abe or anyone else from Suzuki-gun. It was really just two men out there beating the daylights of each other, proving who deserves to be champion and who's the better wrestler. Tomohiro surprised me. He won. I thought Taiji was going to pull it off because I was expecting shenanigans, but I'm okay with this result, actually. And good for him. I'm going to be curious to see where Taiji goes from here. I wouldn't be surprised to see these two face each other again one-on-one. I thought this was a very good match. It was definitely a 4-star classic for me. So, moving on from there, we go into the IWGP Tag Team Championship match. The Guerrillas of Destiny, one of the best tag teams in the world today, versus Evo and Sonata. Keep in mind, Guerrillas of Destiny are also the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. And yeah, there was a lot of fun moments here, a lot of profanity from the good bad guy, of course. Always one of my favorites. Tamatanga and Sonata, they were playing to the crowd for a little bit, and then we got an insane fast-paced start, Paradise Lock attempt, but of course, Tama, he gets out of the ring, and then Tong tags his brother Tonga Loa, and then Tonga and Evo exchange, and he's like, come on, man, I'm a freaking champion, you gotta bring it harder than that. I thought that was pretty entertaining. And basically, it was a little bit of back and forth throughout this match. Eventually, things, though, really picked up when Gato came into play and hit Evo in the back, and then the ring was cut in half. But Sonata comes in, he puts Tonga into the Paradise Lock. I think that's the longest I've seen somebody in the Paradise Lock in a match, as Sonata takes out everybody from Gato to Tamatanga, excuse me. That's hard to say sometimes. Anyway, he takes out everybody, and then he does a sit-out powerbomb, but GLD, they come back into play, and they maintain control for most of the match. The crowd becomes awakened after there's some teasing. There's a springboard drop kick. Evil then gets back and tagging. We get a superplex moonsault combination, again showing the incredible tag team dynamics of Evil and Sonata. And following that, we get a Scorpion Deathlock attempt, but we also get some combination offense as well. And then we get Skull and Scorpion Deathlock dual submissions. I thought for a moment even Sonata were going to take it here. And it really looked like he was going to tap. But, hey, outside guy, Jado, comes into play and pulls the ref out. Literally, as soon as the ref gets pulled out, he taps. But it doesn't matter because eventually Gato gets in the ring and Bushi comes into play and misses him with that toxic miss and gets a suicide dive and takes out Gato. So you feel like after this, the ball's in Evo and Sonata's court. They can win here, so they go for the Magic Kill. But nope, out of nowhere, we get a roll-up victory. Whip tights, unaware to the ref. And GOD maintain the titles. Very nice back and forth tag team bout. I expected GLD to retain the titles because I expect them to face new competition, and they want new competition, as they call it. Even Revival and Usos don't let fences hold you, and I thought that was brilliant in their post-match interview. But this was, I've seen it a number of times. Two great teams. It was okay though. I wouldn't say, like something really insane. It was 3 3/4 for me. Well, maybe 3.5 now that I think about it, now that I've seen this so many times. But what's interesting was the after story of this, where Evil stayed in the ring by himself. I feel like he was truly disappointed. Why Bushi and Sonata, they went to the back. So is Evil going to go singles? Is Sonata going to go singles? Are these two going to remain a tag team? I don't know. A little bit of questioning in LIJ, that's for sure. And following this, you think we go into our next match. But no, this was a highlight. Katsuyori Shibata. Wow. Did not see that coming, but I also didn't see this coming. Kenta, the former Hideo Itami from WWE, hashtag 205 Live Matters, who's been dominant and bringing up his style of wrestling for Pro Wrestling Noah. He comes in to New Japan Pro Wrestling, courtesy of Shibata, who apparently is one of his only real best friends, as the two men claim they don't have any real friends. And Kenta basically says he wants to show New Japan Kenta's pro wrestling, and he couldn't achieve this in WWE in his post-interview. So he wants to be in the G1 Climax to show it. And that's it, as Shibata said, and both men walked away. I was very, very, very engaged by this. This G1 Climax is certainly looking to be one of the best G1 Climaxes in history. Definitely the most predictable. Anyway, following this, we go into our next match. For me, there were two matches here that took the night. This was one of them. Will Ospreay versus Dragon Lee for the Junior, I've always been saying light, so apologies, Junior Heavyweight Championship. And there was no hesitation and no waste of time here, as we just got an insane fast start. Arse cutter, combination, counter into Descuidora, counter, then we get drop kicks, kip up, and then someone covers the drop kick, I forget who. And following this, though, I think it was Ospreay, because Ospreay follows up with this with a kick, a 619, a body press, and we get a submission into a pin. Picture yellow attempt. Nope, we get STO instead, and then we get vicious knee strike. But Ospreay popped up now on the. Okay, this was the most insane one of the night. Ospreay's popped up on the barricade at the announce tables, and then Dragon Lee comes in at 150 miles per second with a suicide dive that drives Ospreay over the tables to the floor, also drives Dragon Lee to the floor. I thought he landed on his neck, and Milano takes the blunt of it too, as he's ending up all the way into the barricade. I was just glad Milano was okay. It was pretty funny. And then, of course, this match really picks up with a straight German with a bridge, pinning combination, then a corkscrew moonsault, some heavy breathing from Will Ospreay. We get Blaze Sunday into a bridge, hook kick, Stormbreaker attempt, countered. Ospreay planted emphatically with a DDT. And then we get the Osaka cutter, as Charles Robinson put it. Always a good guy. I like him. Anyway, following this exchange led to a hook kick, one of Will Ospreay's specials, and a snap German, where he lands on his feet, Ospreay being the freak that he is, and then a poison rana Spanish fly counter combination, basically, from both men. And then over the top rana, Ospreay landed on his feet. Again, this guy is a freak. As Dragon Lee fought, he planned the move, and the commentators was losing their mind, and so was I. Anyway, we get pop-up aim from bomb by Ospreay, and then a shooting star press. Beautiful, by the way. Still not enough to take out Dragon Lee. And then following this, we get the Robinson special, a knee strike during the Os cutter, though. And Dragon Lee takes advantage with the double stomp from the top. I thought he broke his leg, as I thought his knee hit the apron. But no, we get near count out, though, instead, for victory. He got it at the count of 19. Good job for Ospreay. And then following this, we get a emphatic destroyer, running knee strike into a near fall. I thought Dragon Lee won it here, but he didn't. As Ospreay, with his insane breathing and just non-normal human nature, comes with a hidden blade, top rope Os cutter, Stormbreaker combination, finally picks up the win and becomes the the new champ in this match. This is my first time. Give me a break. Anyway, I thought this match was freaking incredible. And this proves my point on why I believe 205 Live matters. When you do stuff like this with junior heavyweights, you let them showcase yourself. You let them really just do everything they want to in the time that you allow them to. You don't restrain them. You don't hold them back. You don't have no gimmicks. You don't have no interference. These are matches that steal the night, and this one certainly was one of those for me. It was definitely a 4.25 out of 5 for me. The second best match of the night. And we'll get into the other one shortly. By the way, uh, Will Ospreay versus Shingo Takagi was one of Meltzer's, I guess, top 5 highest score matches of the year. So mad respect to him on that. Why people give him grief. At least he knows some good wrestling. Or at least knows how to interpret some. But I digress. Anyway, this was an incredible match. And then Will Ospreay making the statement that he wants to prove that this title should be the main event. That you can put me, a guy like me, on your posters to carry this company. He dares, really dares, New Japan to put him in the G1 Climax. I would love to see that. Because we might also get Shingo Takagi versus Will Ospreay again. In my opinion, there are some junior heavyweights I feel like can truly win the G1 Climax. Which is the round robin tournament that we'll get to soon when it starts up and we see the blocks, but I digress. Incredible match though, definitely my favorite match so far of the night. Until I saw this. I got one word for you. Neck. Kota Ibushi versus Tetsuya Naito for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Neck. Again, just neck. My neck hurt from watching and I was laying down, okay? So, both these men, incredible history with one another. Always steal the show. Create magic together. Tetsuya Naito's on point saying he doesn't like the person Kota Ibushi, but he loves the wrestler Kota Ibushi, as it brings out the best in him. Boy, did it this time. So, we get an exchange and Kota delivers the first kick finally, but Naito, he controls the crowd basically as it seems like some cheering and some boo, but you know. Anyway, we get submission, spit, and stomps. Tetsuya Naito, of course, being, you know, tranquilo, but also himself. Just goes for the eyes and goes for the eyes. And then we get an inverted atomic drop into a double stomp. Very nice follow through of Kota Ibushi. Corkscrew Dexcata, I think. And then Kota, he's grabbing his neck as the neck is being worked in this match. Again, Kota, he's not normal, alright? I don't know when he ever feels pain. I don't know when he ever is sad or happy. He just loves wrestling and loves New Japan. Anyway, following this tornado DDT counter, one-legged drop kick, apron spot, though, this is where things got insanely scary, and truly I feel like, okay, this match is going to end shortly. Boy, did it not. Both men trying to go for suplexes, it seems, onto the floor, and I think at one point soon I was even going for a pile driver, but eventually, unfortunately, both men separate, stun the apron, and literally Kota Ibushi running 100 miles per hour runs straight into a kick by Tetsuya Naito, where he gets suplexed and hits the apron head first. I kid you not. Head first. The hardest part. Head first to the floor. But somehow Kota, he's still alive, and he gets back in the ring by the count of 19. Following this, we get a snap rider for the top rope into a near fall. I truly don't know if Kota was all there. I think he wasn't there for the rest of this match. It was pure instinct, as if he was on auto. Anyway, following this, Destino attempt into a pile driver that compresses the neck of Tetsuya Naito. Still not enough. Then we get exchanges and a multiple number of headbutts from Tetsuya Naito. And following this, Shote and a clothesline. Vicious clothesline. I feel like this is the point where Kota Ibushi went into the darkness inside him and just unleashed hell against Naito. That clothesline turned him inside out. Anyway, he channels Shinsuke Nakamura after that and goes for the Kinshasa, which they call the Bombaye. But of course, that gets countered into a dragon suplex. Once again, the neck. Oh, the neck. Finally get a Destino into our first, well, no. Another near fall of this match. There were multiple. Anyway, following that, we get a knee strike dropped to the chest. Very impressive move by Kota Ibushi. And a last ride powerbomb that Tsunato tried to fight out of, but failed into another near fall. And then following this, we get a DDT counter by Naito. Plants him straight up. And then swing and reverse DDT, goes for Destino, doesn't get it. But eventually he does win with a Poison Rana Valencia. Well, actually, no, he doesn't here. This was another near fall, the last near fall of the match, as it looks like that he's just not all there. But you see his body, like, just involuntary, seems like moving or swerving. His eyes would gaze the entire time. I was worried my life for Kota's health. Anyway, following this, Naito hit another Destino and finally won. And with a fact statement, he puts his foot on the side of Kota Ibushi's head, who's still laid out on the mat, not even moving, and picks up the title and then tosses it to the side. He does say he wants this title, though, because, again, his goal is to become the first guy to hold both titles at the same time. He wants to hold both those titles at the same time. But this was a brutal, physical, once again, incredible match that made me cringe. These two never disappoint, and these two definitely give you match of the night, it seems. This was definitely a near 5-star classic for me. I don't know necessarily if it outdid the G1 or the New Japan Cup ones, because this was like basically the closing to all this. And I'm sure it's not the last time these two are going to face each other 1-on-1, but it probably will be for a while anyway. At least I hope. This was 4 3/4 for me. And maybe I'm just being generous, but you take it as you will. I'm just a simple man, a lifelong fan of wrestling. Speaking of wrestling, we go into what was kind of like really a wrestling match, but it also was a bit entertaining too. And maybe just a bit more showcasing. Our main event was Chris Jericho versus Kazuchika Okada. Once again, the GOAT versus the Rainmaker. Oh, excuse me, the Painmaker versus the Rainmaker. So this match was pretty fun actually, as Jericho maintained control throughout this, encountering all of Okada's moves, showing how well he knows him and stuff like that. Everything from his drop kicks to his Rainmakers to even, and then I'm surprised he's the first guy to take advantage of this spot, where you're up against the ropes, there's a rope break, you think Okada's gonna hit you, but instead he literally just taps you on the chest, and they don't capitalize. What does Jericho do? He thumbs him in the eye. And then of course we get all the typical spots. Jericho takes the camera, gives you the Winnipeg salute, and he's just yelling, Okada! And he DDTs Okada into the table, call back to the match with Naito. But, there was a lot of good stuff here. Jericho catches Okada out of midair with a code breaker when they're outside of the ring. Okada, though, he plants Jericho head first. He nearly wins the title via count, actually, Jericho does. But then we get tombstone counters. We get multiple walls of Jericho, including the extended lion one. And then we get some arguments with the ref, because, ref you don't know. And we get shotgun dropkick out of midair into a tombstone. Following that, Rainmaker countered first into butterfly powerbomb, very interesting, done by Chris Jericho. Codebreaker counted to a net breaker. We get our first apron spot where there's a drop kick and then an elbow drop. Rainmaker and the Insiguri. Again, he's just trying to hit that Rainmaker because the Rainmaker, it's over. I don't know if Jericho can even take the Rainmaker. I know he can't take the One Ring Angel, so I was very curious to this. Following this, though, we get exchange, chop, lion salt. Shotgun drop kick. Okada, I think he started to break down as he pushed the rep back, showing being aggressive, but then he puts his hands like, I'm sorry, I'm okay. And then he runs into a code breaker, and we get our near fall of the match, still not enough. Jericho yelling, stay down, so what does he do? He takes the turnbuckle pad off, which is just a giant thing, not a single thing, going somewhere else. But Okada, he hits his own code breaker. Very interesting. And gets a near fall. And then following this, we get Tombstone, then a Rainmaker, changed down to the walls. It's funny, he didn't pin him on the Tombstone. Probably would have won. And then we get our first attempt with Jericho's new move, the Judas Effect, that MMA spinning elbow strike, misses. Rainmaker counter, misses. Codebreaker counter, misses. And it wasn't a finisher that did this. People say he just out-wrestled him. Okada wins. As expected, but he wins with just a simple roll-up. Literally, a simple roll-up. But following this, we really learn what the Painmaker's all about, as he claims he never loses. And he said he wanted to play? Well, I guess he played. He beats the daylights out of Okada and denies the fans a victory speech, as he almost ends him with a chair to the ring post. But who comes into play? The Ace. So it looks like we're getting some foreshadowing to maybe Jericho wants to be in G1 Climax, as he discussed in his post-match interview. But we also might be getting what's next for Hiroshi Tanahashi. Now that would be an incredible match, I feel like. Hiroshi Tanahashi, a rock star in his own right, versus the rock star himself, leader of Fozzy, Chris Jericho. And I feel like this was going to lead up to. Then again, Okada might just call Jericho out and say, I want to face you again, and maybe it would be like a no DQ match. But then I guess you would be following a similar path like you did with Tetsuya Naito. Either way, it probably would work. Now, someone I know, he says that this is just going to lead to more ticket sales, and I mean, it definitely might, as you took away something from the crowd, but you also still got a huge reaction from the crowd. This match was interesting. It wasn't like your typical 5-star classic, but it was certainly entertaining and engaging, to say the least. Would I put this in the main event spot? Probably not, actually. I really feel like Kota and Naito should have closed the show. I'm just saying. But this match was okay. I give it, it's Okada. I give it 4 out of 5. Maybe 4 1/4. So that was it for the show, as we didn't get a victory speech and things just ended with a loud boo from the audience. Now, this show was always impressive. Dominion, I've been watching for the last several years now, always impressive. We broke some jinxes, we kept some streaks intact, we always got moments, but this show had quite a different ending. If I were to grade this show, I'd probably give it an A-. Not every match was like your 5-star classic. There wasn't really any botches, but there were a couple things here like I would have probably changed this or changed this. So it's an A- for me. Anyway, I look forward to what's next to come from New Japan and everybody involved in this show, and potentially everybody that will be in G1 Climax that declared they want to be in it. So with that, I think I'm done here. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like, share, retweet, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Give me your comments and feedback. And with that, know this. I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of wrestling. You want to talk more wrestling, look up my YouTube here, youtube.com/users/Noah Foster210, where you'll get more stuff like this going forward maybe, but you'll definitely get my weekly series, 205 Live Matters, where I review 205 Live every week, and just talk Cruiserweight wrestling with some great folks. I also do other pay-per-view predictions and simple, retrospectives too, mostly on pay-per-views and content outside WWE. Anyway, I'm going to keep it simple here and say that's it. You want to follow me on Twitter, talk more to me too there. NoDQ.com/Noah takes my Twitter page. Support NoDQ.com on all your social media platforms. Go buy a shirt, NoDQ.com/shirts. And as always, I'd like to close. Support your wrestling by being small. And let's keep growing this wrestling community together. Simple as that. With that, thank you for listening. I hope you all had a wonderful evening. I hope you all enjoyed wrestling. Find some great wrestling. We are on the summer of wrestling, I like to call it here, and there's a ton of great wrestling ahead. Expect more great content like this ahead, as I try other stuff too. And with that, I will see you on the next video. Be sure to listen to the IO podcast too for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Great listen. Charles does a great job. Or Chris Robinson. Am I screwing up his name? I probably am, knowing me. I'm tired here. Anyway, Kokigenyo, sayonara, have a good night.